The work. What is it? How is it? What does it look like every day? FRINGE22 world, Lauda and Fredo, day in, day out.
The work is, sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low. Usually it's been very high lately, which is great, but it's, we stay up very late, till 3 o'clock in the morning to get work done. And I love every single bit of it, but then I'm exhausted and I need to spend time with my family, and then I can't take care of my family because I'm so tired, and I need me time, and then I get me time, and then I miss my family, and then I need to get back to work, and it's just all over again. But it's worth it, and it's worth it because we do work for great people. We do work for clients that know how to spread goodness around the world. They know how to take care of people. They know how to just really care for their communities, and we stand by them as they do that. We're always in the background playing that role, but at the same time, you know, it's just so beautiful to see when everything comes to life and you have an event that we are helping brand, and then you see it live and you see people reacting to it, and then, you know, you hear how much impact it's having on the community, and it just like this trickle down effect of us being tired, and then the what do you call it? Just that, you know, just that.
The stuff.
That like feeling that you get when you see your work out there. And we've been doing this for so long, for a decade.
Yeah.
And it's
way before it was popular, way before like this social justice kind of design world really started coming up. And I think for a long time, the work itself, we had to define it more and more.
Why does strategy matter?
My favorite word, right?
Everybody knows it.
Everybody knows it. Strategy, it's before the design. It's before you know what the website looks like. It's before you know what that logo is going to look like, right? Strategy is almost like the feeling that you want to give people, right? That sense of, it's almost a sense of like that inner feeling that you really want people to buy into, that you're branding your business, you're branding your company in a way where, hey, it's uniquely yours. So it's really about how can you simplifying your message, simplifying your overall outlook, simplifying the work in a way where people can easily absorb it, right? And I always say, we always say, strategy, it's the foundation of strategy is culture, right? And the more you understand that culture, any culture, right, the strategy is gonna be solid. But if you skip over culture, which I think a lot of people do, especially in this industry, they might shy away from the cultures that they're unfamiliar with. But if you shy away from culture, there's a whole nother world that you're missing out on. It's like we're creative anthropologists, right?
That is the perfect way to put it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're creative anthropologists. We're trying to understand the culture behind the creativity and how do we connect with people through that. So the strategy is like, you know, when people say, hey, within the first couple of seconds, people know what you're going to be about. People kind of get a perception about you, right? Same thing. How can you bring that perception front and center, and so people can get what you're about from the moment they meet you, from the moment they hear the words that come out of your mouth? And that's that strategy part. How can you hit them hard, but with just the right amount?
And we always say, even outside of business, just with me and you, we created our own culture. We cultivated this culture. We, fed it all of the different things that we like, and we got rid of the things that we don't like about our individual cultures. And then we created this brand new thing that you see around us every day. And we take every bit of that into business, and then we really try to understand how can we dig deep into our clients' culture the same way we did our own.
Marriage and business. How does that work? Right? We're married, right?
Yes,
and we're business partners.
We
right?
have been for a very long time.
For a very long time.
There's like multiple things that I want to touch on. And the first thing is competition. It's been our number one thing. Who's better at Illustrator, who's needs to get better, who needs to get better at, holding a brush and painting. But I just think that going back to when we were in college and we had our very first art gallery show together with a bunch of other student artists. And your piece was huge, and it was the first thing you would see when you enter the show, and it was amazing. It's called Music and Me, and you ended up selling it. And my piece was like this, small piece. It was watercolor, and I made it, when I was in high school. I liked it, but I didn't think it had that much of an impact. And it was like hidden in the background somewhere. Like it wasn't even, and yours was right when you walk in.
Walk in the door and all this stuff.
Yeah. So, and I ended up winning.
Yeah.
And then we took the gift cards that we won, and we went and had dinner together, and we celebrated each other. And it was that like sense of competition, but at the same time you were really happy for me. I was happy to share what I have won with you, and I feel like that's when we really started to understand each other's perspective on art in a different way, not just like here's what I do and here's the art that you do, and we talk about it and we critique it, and but then it was more about how can we compete and then get better at what the other is doing. And then that time where in art history class, you were,
and we planned it. We said, we went into the class and we said, let's see who gets the better grade.
And then you got an A+, of course, because this is your thing. And I worked really hard to get my writing down because it was not my thing. And I got an A-, but you still beat me. And I was still like, damn, like this is just. And then I feel like, that's when we first started. How did Lotta and Alfredo do their thing? We just always talked about art. We always talked about food. We critiqued food. We would go and eat falafel sandwiches from Amsterdam Falafel on 18th Street in DC, and we'll talk about how crispy the falafel is and how how good the eggplant was and how not typical to put eggplant on the sandwich. And then it went.
I love eggplant.
You love eggplant, but it's just not a traditional thing. I'm used to my falafel sandwich with tahini and some mkhallal and tomatoes, and that's it. So then it went from there all the way to us talking about your business plan, and that business plan that you built in school, where you were doing your
More like a
marketing plan for a business that you wanted to create. And then you told me about that as we were eating falafel. And then I was like, oh, this is so interesting. And then one thing led to another. It just became this like business that we wanted to create, this event that we wanted to do, and our relationship like started to build on that business as well. So it was always marriage and business at the same time. And then
we brought on other friends.
Yeah, we brought on other friends and other collaborators. Yeah, and then fast forwarding all, because I kind of don't even, I feel like I don't even remember what happened in between that and like now. But I remember the time where I gave birth to Layla, and the day after,
oh my goodness,
we were in the hospital,
oh my goodness.
and we were, I was sitting on the bed, obviously I just gave birth, so I'm still trying to recuperate and like figure out exactly what I have done, because it was a lot. And you were working on the contract, and we were trying to get this contract out so we can, lock it.
But I was trying to give you a space. I was trying to give you a space, and you were like, no. Let me see it. Let me review it. Give me that contract. I need to look at it. I need to have my eyes on it before this goes out, and my signature's on this contract. You wanted in, even though you just gave birth, and that was like, whoa. I just married a soldier. I just married a trooper, right?
I feel like, all this like kid thing, and number one and number two and number three, and dealing with Layla and Amelia during the day, and balancing work, and then balancing our relationship, because that's very important for the work to even work. We can't do FRINGE22 without doing Laura and Alfredo first. And we really learned how to balance that. And I think that hopefully we can work on it even more, just to make sure that it doesn't crack, we don't lose it at some point. But I also think that I think that for me personally, working on my leadership skills as a business owner, but also as a co-founder, that this is not mine only. I have to make sure that I can give you your 50% worth of giving me the critique, or just being a good leader in this process can affect me being a good mother, can affect me being a good wife, can affect me being, a good business partner.
Just with me and you by nature, I think we're just, really high energy. We're just really high energy, very passionate about anything. Get passionate about ketchup, right? But when it comes to marriage and business, and the way those two intertwine, and the way those two areas somewhat balance each other out. But I think it really happens if we're working, right, and it's something that's might just, we're sensing something in each other. We'll put the work to the side to address the marriage, to address the personal, because I think with both of us, subconsciously we're always thinking that there's no business without a strong marriage, right? And there's really no collaboration without that sense of respect, right? First, and how can I fully respect you as a business partner if I'm not, doing the best that I can as a spouse, right? So I think that's that red line, that subconscious red line that we're always that's that subconscious red line that we're always saying, hey, let's address this first, because that's more important, right? That's the meat and potatoes, right? And then we'll get back to the business once me and you are good. Yeah. And then I think sometimes people, they see us, critiquing each other's work, and they're like, you guys need some time. They think we're fighting, right? But we're just like, no, this is light. This is light work, right? But It's just we're just real passionate, and a lot of times we get that, and then we understand each other's tones, and we have thick skin. But then I think there's also certain lines that we're saying, hey, well, this or that doesn't communicate right.
Yeah.
Let's address this so then we can get back to business. So.
Yeah.
Design for social impact. What's that mean? Explain it. What's the depth of that? Design for social impact.
So we always believed in that as FRINGE22, but before we made it our thing, years ago, I always used to think that if the world would end, Armageddon, everybody's, like left to do their thing and no one is supporting you in any way, like how can I contribute? And how can I, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an engineer, like I don't know these things to like immediately be able to help people and fix things. And so the thing that I know best is design and art, and how can I be able to contribute to the world with that? And I realized that I cannot move forward with my career without being able to do good with it. And we've always believed it as FRINGE22. We've always believed in that design for social impact with lifestyles with purpose, unite, inspire, evolve, change, cultures and people, building communities, not just brands, all of these things that we always say, it's encompassed within that design for social impact message and mission and like slogan. And as much as we believe in that, we want to work with people that believe in that too. And, we've always been like a niche studio where we have a very specific kind of work that we do for very specific people. And we had to take that 20% and let go of the 80% because, we didn't want to be the studio for everybody. No brand can be the brand for everyone. And, our brand became about doing work for social good through creating a website, through creating an identity, through, and we do that by understanding people, and we do that by listening to their stories, and we do that by helping other nonprofits and organizations and small businesses to establish that social impact that they want to establish within their own world. So we work with a client that their slogan is empowering people. We work with a client that believes in lifting individuals and strengthening communities. We work with a client that has their whole mission is to unite women of color in the peace and security world. We're working with a client that believes in, going all in just to, put for a second race and gender and religion to the side and unite and come together. So I feel like, the more we talk about this social good, this social impact, the more we start attracting people that believe in the same mission. And it's been working.
This reminds me of a song, this Burning Spear song, right? And I love reggae, grew up on it and everything, but it's a song that called, My Roots, and I forget. I always remember the roads I come from, or always remember the roots I'd come from. So we want people to embrace this and design for social impact. That's what it means to me. Embracing that core of yourself, those deep roots of yourself that's positive. And not being shy about it, not being timid about saying, yes, this is my culture, this is who I am, and I want to share this with the world. And we want people to feel proud of it when we work on their brands and their logos and build out their websites. We want people to say, I knew I had something. I knew this idea or these deep roots that I had, these deep passions that I had about, or that I have about my mission. it was something worth going after. And there was a time where I had an issue with advertising, you know, as an ad graph major in college and after, and you know, doing all these different business transactions. I had a real issue to pick with the advertising world because I kind of felt like it was this soulless, you know, cold kind of atmosphere where a lot of times they were just fueled off of status and the people that you know. And I just said, I don't like it. I don't like that. And every time that I would, you know, go to an event, go to an award show, and I just see this culture of almost arrogance, you know, and it feels as though people are sucked into it, right? Like I feel like sometimes people are sucked into it. That's not really who they are at the core, but on the surface, that's what they'll show, just to say, hey, my business is relevant.
Yeah.
I'm relevant to this community, to this ad graph community, to this creative community. So I stopped going to all the award shows. I stopped going to all these shows and, you know, all these different events, even in DC, you know. I stopped it so I could pull back and reflect a little bit more about who I am and who we are as far as FRINGE22.
Yeah.
And once we started articulating that a lot more, a lot better, I think we started to just break out a little bit more and just say, hey, you know what? All right, we might go to a little show here and there, but we're also content with saying that we don't have to be like everyone else as far as the business model, nor do we have to be like everyone else as far as the character. And ultimately, I think that's what it's all about when we bring on our collaborators. What's their character? What's their culture? And then how can we share a couple of ideas and collaborate with this creative world, with everything that we do? And you know, we still do a bunch of projects in house, right? That we would fund just because we're passionate about it. Purely. Mm-hmm. Just because we're passionate about it, just because we feel like it's the right thing to do. So design for social impact is really just believing that doing the right thing, it's peak. It's the top, it's at the top of the list. And not in a gimmicky, not in a mission statement kind of a way. It has to be soul deep. Mm-hmm. And that's what I find is one of the realest things about what we have at FRINGE22 between me, you, our collaborators, you know, our lives. So
we're finished. Nice. That was good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, this was great. Cool.
Cut.
All right, we have 5 minutes to go on the call.
Oh, dang.